Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, guys. Monday. Now, normally at this time of the month, things would start to be slowing down and we would be, a little bit, pulling back from the market. But we've got a lot of central bank decisions coming up. We have today, we're going to see what happens once all of the, now not once, but now that all of this gamma is gone from last Friday, S&P 500 is more free to move. Might see a crash up is what the flows are kind of predicting to me. So it's going to be interesting this week. For us in the treasuries, there could be some volatility. So I don't know if that's going to present opportunities for me. I haven't been doing very well lately, so I am still going to be a little bit on the risk adverse side for now, but we'll see. You never know what happens, and maybe a really clear opportunity will come to me. Let's come and check out the charts and just kind of check out where we're at. Man, really strong rally last week in the S&P 500 and some extension on it overnight. Treasuries kind of buying here too. So that's interesting. After having been so negative, we are starting to see them buy back up. I'm starting to see that the positioning in the treasury futures is negative again. So that is kind of curious. Gold and silver. Well, they aren't. Oh, geez. Now that's interesting. So gold seems okay, but silver got pummeled overnight. Very interesting. And what about copper? Okay, copper's still middling after having such a long downtrend. Japanese yen, is the dollar doing anything interesting here? The dollar is still, well, just below 103, but we've been around 103 for a while, right? So, a few days. To me, a few days is a while, okay? And the Japanese yen kind of mirroring that pretty closely. And then Bitcoin kind of still down in the doldrums, but not below 40,000. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure what to make of all of that. Okay, well, next, let's kind of go and take a look at what kind of news we got this week. Okay, we are in the Fed blackout period, by the way, so I'll have to worry about that this week. Today, we got 6 and 3 month auctions. Let me come to Forex Factory and look at the rest of the week. Okay, so tonight we got Bank of Japan. Tomorrow, well, not a whole lot of U.S. Merchant Manufacturing Index. Bank of Canada on Wednesday. Thursday, Advanced GDP. Friday, Core PCE. And personal income, personal spending, pending home sales. Okay, so there's not necessarily a packed week here if I go none and I just only show US. It's not a super packed week. I mean, we do have a flash manufacturing PMI, but it's not a super packed week until we get to Thursday, but there's all sorts of central bank stuff happening, beginning today with the Bank of Japan. So we're going to want to keep an eye on the Japanese yen today. Unfortunately, when we get moves related to the Bank of Japan, I tend to be a little bit behind the curve, I don't get that kind of information as quickly. So, Seth, you got to do a DeSantis rant today, says Jiwi. I don't know if there's anything to rant about, man. I'm a little shocked, to be honest. It's kind of funny because after the first debate, I remember saying, I think Haley is going to do a lot better than everybody is giving her credit for, just based on the demographics and the positions that she's taking. She's probably going to be a powerful force, and I think that you're going to see a lot of the anti-Trump sentiment coalesce behind her. Man, I can't believe how right I was on that particular one. That one kind of surprises me. On the other hand, when I was reading that DeSantis took all of his campaign events off of his calendar and canceled all these, I was in total denial. I was like, there is no way. There is no way that DeSantis is going to get out that early. But apparently they were concerned that his showing in New Hampshire was going to be really embarrassing. So they must be thinking, well, we need to avoid the embarrassment so that we can potentially run again in 4 years. Which is kind of an interesting setup here with, I mean, this is something that I've never seen in my lifetime before, where you have a president that, you know, he was in for one term, then out, and then he's running again, and you got some people running against him. I mean, that was kind of a thing with Teddy Roosevelt, but like, I don't know, man. This is the whole thing is just weird. And so you got these Republicans that they know that they'll have another chance in 4 years, and they kind of want to position themselves for that, I think. Although, also kind of seems like that running against Trump was not the way to try and position yourself, because, you know, even though DeSantis was or is trying to be like pro-Trump, the Trump guys just absolutely hate him now, right? So he didn't want to embarrass himself in New Hampshire, I think, because Haley basically put everything into New Hampshire. You know what this reminds me of, though? When I see this whole picture that we got here today, I start having flashbacks, man. I start having flashbacks going way back to 2007, 2008. You smell what I'm stepping in? Because the way that one worked was, it was Huckabee, Romney, John McCain, and a lot of people didn't like Romney and were going for Huckabee as the conservative, but the conservative was kind of split. And so there was this whole thing about one guy needs to drop out first, and it was eventually Romney, but it wasn't until like Super Tuesday or just before Super Tuesday, I think, that Romney dropped out on that one. But then it was like John McCain did really good in New Hampshire, and that just gave him the momentum. And then ever after that, it was like nobody else could recover. And we were all like, how are these people why are they going for McCain? This is so stupid. And it was just like a slow motion train wreck, and you just couldn't stop it. And then he became the nominee, and we're all like perplexed. Well, us conservatives were all complex about how they could have picked John McCain. So the whole thing is one. Now, the chances of Haley winning are like nil. I guess her whole scenario is, if she can win in New Hampshire, which, by the way, more of DeSantis's supporters are Trump supporters than Haley supporters. Okay, most of his base hates Haley. So Ron dropping out actually makes Trump more likely to win New Hampshire. But let's just say, in the remote chance that Haley won New Hampshire, her whole idea is that would give us momentum, and then we could win South Carolina and all these other things. The problem is, South Carolina hates Haley. It's conservative. It's Southern conservative. You know, there's different Mountain West conservative, different from a Southern conservative. I'm a Mountain West conservative, right? So she basically stands no chance. And I would expect that she probably drops out before South Carolina. And if she doesn't, then it'll be like immediately afterwards. So it kind of looks like Donald Trump is going to be the nominee. Kind of looks like he's going to be the nominee. And I can't say that I've been like super enthusiastic about kind of the way that I've been seeing Donald go the beginning of this campaign cycle. But he is starting to get his feet back underneath of him, so maybe it's okay. When you go to Davos, they're all talking like he's going to be the next president. So I don't know. But interestingly enough, with Ron DeSantis dropping out, for some reason I'm seeing a resurgence of the Donald Trump is almost certainly going to lose crowd. So, but can you tell that I've just kind of, for some reason, lost interest in the politics? Right? I've kind of realized that like I have very little influence, that few people care about my actual, philosophy on politics. They only care, you guys care in as much as it's relevant to your trading, but and I just, my time is over, and I just get to watch other people do crazy things and hope that it works out. It just isn't funny. He's right. You're right, Uzi. It's just not fun anymore, man. You know what though? I really think, okay, so this was going through my head this morning. I don't know why, but it's kind of funny that you say that, and it kind of drives me to this. So one of the things that I was thinking about this morning was the NPC meme, because I was thinking about, like if I get somewhere, like if we're driving in the car and then we get there and I get out of the car and then I have to wait like 5 minutes for my family to get out of the car. What are you guys doing? What do you think is going to happen? You sit in the car for 5 minutes, so you're not doing anything. Like, you don't even have your phone out. You're just like sitting there. Like, why does it take you so long to get out of? Let's go. Same thing happens at church. Like church is over. Everybody stands up and then they stand there for like 5 minutes. Like, so do you think somebody's going to come over and talk to you? Because you want to talk to somebody, you're probably going to need to go to them. Like, nothing's going to happen. And then it hit me as like, maybe it's because they're NPCs, my own family. Oh, that's terrible. Maybe it's because they're NPCs. That made me start thinking about that whole meme again. And you know what? Like, or do you remember this whole time when the NPC meme was like a bannable offense in some places? You remember that? Glad you guys enjoyed that. Do you remember when like the NPC meme was like a bannable offense? And it's like, why is that so crazy? Well, the argument that they were giving was the NPC meme is meant to dehumanize people so that you can justify genociding them later. That's what the argument, which is just so absolutely silly, right? I remember when telling journalists on Twitter to learn to code was bad. Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, so why does the NPC meme upset them so much? Well, here's what I think it is. I think it's because a lot of the people that you're interacting with online are NPCs. There are Chinese bots. The 50 Cent army is totally a thing. I've been on the wrong side of it before. I just, commented on a Who Shishin or whatever his name was. I commented on one of his posts on Twitter, pointing out a logical fallacy and something that was very much incorrect there. Just to point out to my trading audience, like, I wouldn't trade off of what he just said there, right? Because he's wrong. And the army came after me, and it was like hundreds of these accounts just tweeting at me for like 3 days out of nowhere. Where do these people come from? The 50 Cent army is a real thing. And Hillary Clinton's super PAC, Correct the Record, I think it was called. And I don't remember what they're called now, but after she was a super PAC, they just kind of rebranded and everybody forgot. They're still out there. So it's not dead internet. It's not dead internet theory. There are people that you are probably talking to every day, and I mean, not like a person that you'll run into more than once, but like you're talking to random commenters on Reddit. Not all of them are real. Some of them are robots or a person that is controlling many accounts. It's totally a thing. Totally a thing. And we all just bury our heads in the sand. And I don't think that the social media, the companies really care to know because, you know, it makes them money. They'd rather just be in ignorance about it. Unless it's Russian disinformation agents. And the Russians are out there too, distorting conservative views. It's totally a thing. Right? So I think, so why did I bring that whole thing up? When it comes to politics just isn't fun anymore. One of the things that you do when you're like, one of your tactics, if you're in one of those outfits, is to create a lot of controversy. Like basically when a particular thing comes up, it just is so nasty. There's so much vitriol that like people just don't want to talk about it anymore. And I feel like that's what's happened with politics is they basically, it was becoming a thing on social media. Like conservatives were actually hitting back on social media. And so what did they have to do? They had to make politics on social media not fun anymore. So that, you know, now that it was no longer just a straight up advantage for globalists. That's my conspiracy theory. That's my conspiracy theory. Yeah. I can't type for shit. Okay, so here's another funny thing. This morning on TikTok, I don't know, I probably shouldn't open up TikTok before I trade. I don't know if getting the dopamine from TikTok really helps you or not. Let's see, I don't go to Facebook much these days, but the contrast between your 2016-2020 timeline to now is staggering. Yeah. It is. It is. And like, Facebook is just not fun anymore. Like, it's not the same people posting over there and stuff, yeah. Like, I met my wife on Facebook, right? So that's like, and I built a lot of contacts during that time period, and yeah, most of them are gone. Anyways, actually, let me try and blow my nose here. Okay, so anyways, I get on TikTok this morning, and I have more notifications than usual. I haven't posted on TikTok very much. Like, I don't know if TikTok got oversaturated or what, but like, I'll post something and get like 300 views. It's just like not worth it anymore. Plus, I don't really have the time during the day. It used to be that I would have these breaks and so I could go make, but I just don't have that time anymore too. So I don't post many TikToks. But some guy stumbled across me and was viewing TikToks from like several months ago and starts commenting on all of my posts that I'm a Fed. They're like, so clearly a Fed. You even type like a Fed. I'm like, what the? How does a Fed type? Does a Fed type 110 words per minute? Because you don't. What is that? What is that about? So I think what I'm gonna do is go back and respond to one of his comments and be like, no. I'm owned by the multinational banking elite. It's a completely different group of people, okay? The Feds, they have no clue what's going on in this arena, right? And you think that that'll be a good reply to it? There's these guys on TikTok that were getting kind of popular that were like, you know, BlackRock owns everything. What are they trying to do? What's the... Usually Fed posting is encouraging people towards committing crimes, so I don't guess why. Yeah, that doesn't really make much sense, does it? Like the video that he I only looked at the first one, but the first one that he had commented on was me responding to this guy. He's pretty popular on TikTok now, but I was stitching his video. He makes all these videos about like how BlackRock owns everything. And one of the videos that he was making was about how this $900 billion derivatives market bomb is going to destroy the market this year. It didn't, but so I explained why that was kind of silly to say that derivatives was this bomb, because most derivatives are hedging against something else. And that was the video that he called me a Fed on. It's like, so explaining to people how derivatives are actually used makes you a Fed? Like, what? What? That doesn't make any sense at all. I think Fed posting has gone beyond like trying to encourage people to commit crimes, though, because like the person that I see most commonly called a Fed is absolutely Lujan. You know who I'm talking about? That girl that's like, I think she's in the army. We're not like sure, but like really, really good looking girl. And she just makes all of these posts about like being an army brat or something. And everyone's like, oh, this is obviously a psyop to try and convince people to join the military, right? I actually have a friend on Facebook I started playing Battlefield 2 with years ago who suddenly started Fed posting in like 2021, and it was weird. He PM'd me about how we won't be able to vote our way out of this and stuff. Oh man. But you know what though, Uzi? I really honestly believe that there is a substantial number of people out there that have fallen into that hole. It's absolutely a thing. It's a line of reasoning that I think people are kind of prone towards, you know? Like, can you imagine like this? Yeah, exactly. You telling me that you think that the Sierra Charts guy is a Fed? That's or is it? I need to go look at that a little bit more. I don't really care to like dig through their forums, but I think it's more than one of them. But can you imagine if Donald Trump loses again? That some of these people are going to be apocalyptic, right? I mean, you're never going to see me coming out and saying that we should do this crazy thing or that crazy thing, okay? One of the things that bothers the heck out of me right now is these people trying to justify terrorism for Hamas. They're like, well, one person's terrorist is another person's... No, okay? Violent action against civilians is never okay. Never under any circumstances. That is terrorism, not like one army fighting. That's not resistance, okay? If you're doing resistance, you attack the military, right? It's just, you never see me saying that shit, okay? But it's hard to feel very positive about the future of the country if Joe Biden gets another term. It's very hard for me to feel positive about the country if Joe Biden gets another term. And it's hard for me to see how Republicans, at least the current Republican Party, ever wins another election, another national election, if Joe Biden gets another term, because it's like what's going on with the Mexico border is literally changing the demographics of the country. Now, it's not that quite so simple, because the immigrants that are coming over, they have very different views about the world than the Democrat Party. So probably what happens is that at some point in the future, there's a schism, a real schism in the Democrat Party, right? You always end up with two parties one way or another. So I don't think that it goes the way that the far left really thinks that it will, but it's not very good for the Republican Party, right? Yeah. So if I'm feeling that way, and I'm kind of prone to being optimistic, then who knows what, you know, some of these really conspiracy theory minded kind of people are going to think if Donald Trump loses again, right? Think that you'll see a significant spike in illegal immigrant crime, particularly robbery, rape, and okay. That seems like kind of a weird prediction. Not that I don't see where you might be coming from, but I don't understand why you would bring that up. Well, you already watched. Yeah, but it's a completely different type of immigration in Europe. Listen, so now you got me saying controversial things. I would take a Mexican immigrant over the immigrants that are coming into Europe any day. Any day. Like to be like dead serious here. Okay. I 100% proud in saying this, okay? Because I wasn't a Spanish speaking missionary, but I was with a Spanish speaking missionary for one transfer because they had an odd number of them. So for 6 weeks, all we did was Spanish speaking, and pretty much everybody that we talked to was here illegally. Pretty much everybody that we talked to here was here illegally, and I loved those people. I am absolutely completely happy to have, more of those people here in the country. I want it to happen legally, Well, they weren't most of the people that we talked to actually weren't Mexican. I would say about half of them were Mexican, but most of them were coming from further south than that. Africa and the Middle East are showing up at the southern border in droves now too. Oh, I have seen stuff about that. Well, the number of them is impossible to quantify, right? I don't know. The way that it's been going, though, it sure does feel like that it's kind of coming to a head, and that the Democrat Party is just like doing everything they can to try and like stop the avalanche, or like keep the dam plugged, because Americans are like really starting to turn against this situation on the border. Oh, I don't know. Are they actually deporting people in Europe? Is there any changes to the legal immigration side that could be changed to help many more people, you think? Well, okay, so how about I just kind of take it from the approach of like, what would Seth like to see happened on immigration? Yeah. Because they did it, and I really don't like the system that we had. The first thing is that the whole border system needs to be secured. Okay, yeah, we do need border security. What we actually need to pay for border security is cheap compared to all of the other money that the government spends. So it's absolutely ridiculous that they make this big stink about, oh, we can't afford to spend on this nonsense. Okay. We need to secure the border, and we need to deal with this asylum claim problem, okay? Because most of the people that are coming over and claiming asylum, they are not legitimate asylum claims. They are economic migrants, okay? These aren't people coming over with their family. These are guys that have, walked a continent basically for better jobs. And if we go back to the system that Donald Trump had in place, that says you wait in Mexico while we process your asylum claims, then it would stop. They'd stop coming. The log jam in the court would clear, and we would be back. Well, not back, but we would get to like a normal situation. And then we secure the border. Then we can talk about changes to the immigration system. Now, my question is, what is the optimal number? You never hear people talk about this. You notice that like when it comes to like the markets, like we have had inflation. Well, here's how companies determine what their price is. They do this market research. They decide, what people's budgets are and things like that. And then they pick a price that generates the most profit for them. And sometimes that price is higher and sometimes that price is lower. And it's based on the macroeconomic forces that kind of determine those sorts of things, right? During the pandemic, you had a situation where it ended up with their prices being higher, even though their input costs were not rising. So it was demand-driven inflation. People were willing to pay the higher prices, and so companies made tons of money from it. Okay, but that's what happened. Optimal number. There's this focus on optimal number all over the place. So when you see a situation where theoretically there could be an optimal number and people aren't talking about that number, that always makes me suspicious. It made me suspicious when we were doing COVID and we were saying, okay, like, how many people die because of the negative economic consequences and the negative consequences of like shutting down schools and think because those have real impacts too, compared to the number of people that die from COVID. And like when you factor in their age differences, what is the actual value of the lives of these ages compared to these ages? They didn't do that analysis. You know why? Because it was political. It's political. It was mostly a thing to try and get Donald Trump out of office. The way that it was portrayed. Okay. So immigration is the same thing. What is the optimal number of immigrants that you want coming into the United States? Because immigration affects people differently. If you're a business owner, then you want as much immigration as possible. And in fact, these business owners, they kind of love certain businesses, love that it's illegal immigration because then they can just pay them like absolutely nothing, right? Because they have no choice. They're illegal. There's only certain kind of jobs that they can get, right? They love that. But if you're a worker, then you hate that, especially if you're a blue collar worker, because that reduces your bargaining power on the labor market, right? So it affects different people differently, and those all have larger impacts on the larger economy. So the question is, what's the optimal number? When you factor in the impacts on everything, what is the thing that is actually the best for the economy and the best for the most number of people? Because I'm going to bet you that if we just like completely shut off all immigration, like we were able to make it so that there was zero immigration for the next 10 years, that would also be negative for the United States, right? So what's the optimal number? That's the first thing that I want to know. What's the optimal number? And let's choose the number of people that come into the United States based on a real empirical research about what's best for us. Okay? That's the first thing. Then the second thing is we have to change the system that you use to get here legally. Okay? Number one, it's basically like if you already have family here, it's easier to get over. I think that's stupid. Okay? I have friends from all over the place, you know, from before the stream and, you know, that would love to come to the United States. And I think that they would be really, really great citizens. Just because they love US, they love the ideas, and, you know, it matches the kind of life that they want to live and everything, but they can't get over here, right? They don't have family existing. I think that that's just absolutely stupid. I think that we should change the immigration system to more of a merit-based system where we are allowing immigrants based on what they can contribute to society and based on, you know, them holding our ideals, because it's not a good idea to bring tons of people over that do not share our ideas about the world, that do not believe in the Constitution, that do not believe in freedom of speech and all of these other things, right? You don't want the people that just want the money. Okay, that's bad. So let's get away from the family-based and create a merit-based immigration system. Okay, and then the last thing is it shouldn't cost so much. It should cost hardly anything, because these people that are trying to come over, you know, some of them have nothing, and so it's basically like some of the people that I would most like to see come through can't come through illegally because they can't afford it. So that's the other thing that I would change. Okay, so Uzi, I get dozens of illegals looking for jobs with us every week. Struggle to get citizens to show up for interviews they schedule, and we can't hire them. That's crazy. Yeah. So this is just going back to what I say. Like the people that I met love to have them in the country. I want it to be legal, because the thing that bothers me about it is that it's like practically slave labor in some places. Okay. I don't think that that's what Uzi is doing. Okay. But there are some places where, you know, they want the illegals to come through because it's basically slave labor for them. And it's so wrong. And we need to end that. It's really curious to me the things that people on the internet get upset about, especially when it comes to things like slavery, because there are certain parts of our economic system where we're kind of allowing basically slavery. Illegal immigration is one of them. All of the devices that we have that use cobalt is another one, because that's fueled by slave labor in other countries. So wrong. It's so wrong. Remember last week you didn't know how to solve it. You ought to be looking. Well, but I don't want to look at the market right now because we're in like a 10 tick range and it's not going anywhere. So today I'm a little bit cautious. If I see a trend start to develop, I might try and jump on board. But because there's Bank of Japan tonight, just think about if the Federal Reserve had an FOMC meeting tomorrow, and we've been in an 8 tick range, would you be super interested in trading the market? I would hope not. Oh, I forgot about that. Or we don't hire illegals because complicates payroll and the state can fine us now. I forgot about. Remember that whole thing when they were like, they wanted to boycott Florida because of that? But that didn't really happen, did it? Because everybody was saying like Florida's gonna get is gonna collapse now because of this. They won't be able to withstand, but nothing happened. Americans for work for us. No amount of money is ever enough to pay an immigrant $18 an hour, and they're more appreciative. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Like the way that the economy is going is not. Man, it's. We've never seen an economy like this. It's so difficult to even wrap my head around, right? Because when you look at the wage gains that have been made over the last 5 years, it's like that lowest 10% or whatever, or lowest 1/3 of Americans that have seen the most wage gains. So it's actually helped those people at the bottom the most. But it still seems that you literally can't live in some places. Like if you're poor and you live in a big city, you're screwed. You have to move away from the big city because you just can't afford to live there anymore. I'm being told by many people that $4,000 is the normal rent now. That's so crazy to me. I pay half that on my mortgage. Worth ethic wives, they're worth every penny. Well, yeah, and like I said, I feel like most of the people that I met that were coming over do kind of share American ideals. But oh yeah, totally. It is getting there. I tell you what, I am not my first priority is not to tell people the way that things should be, right? Like when I talked about immigration, that was me kind of saying something about the way that things should be. But do you notice that there's a little bit of a process to it? It was kind of like, well, I see this problem, so here's the things that we can do to try and figure out what the right policy would be. And this is maybe like our general goal that we would want to have, right? But my job is not necessarily to like write the law and say these are like the exact specifics that we should have. It's something that I'm interested in and I can do, but it's not my primary job. My primary job is to look at and understand the way that things are and what we might do in response to to deal with it the best. Right. So when it comes to that sort of a thing, yeah, it's an awful situation. But what do you do about it? Well, I say if you have a 401k plan that offers a match, you should be maxing out that match. And if you can't afford to pay your rent and also pay that match, which probably actually you can because it is tax deductible, right? But then you need roommates. Yeah, 4 people to a room. Some people might need to do that. And I'm not saying it's right, but you do what you gotta do, right? Wow, in Croatia, a condo on the coast costs as much as 100 houses inland. Well, yeah, but that's because that's on the Riviera. Nice. Anything on the Mediterranean Sea is considered nice real estate and people want. We got about 20 minutes to the S&P 500 open, and that is I'm going to be more interested in because I'm need to be aware of that a lot of gamma expired on Friday. The markets are a little bit more free to move, and I suspect that might lead to some buying, especially since we just like broke all-time highs and all that sort of stuff. So here's another thought to kind of close all this stuff out, though, right? Are you familiar with those online ADHA tests? I don't know what you're talking about. An online, is that like ADHD? A test online to see if you're ADHD? So I don't know if all people are very good at evaluating themselves. But like what the symptoms of ADHD are and everything are actually quite clear. So like, yeah, you could take a test online and it says you're ADHD and then go and see a professional. Preferably a professional that specializes in ADHD. They do exist. Because most people just go to their regular doctor and the doctor gives them what they want. But. So the thing I was going to say to cap this all off is one of the things that I've noticed happens over and over and over again in the markets. And it's like this pattern that is so clear to me, and it seems like everybody misses. And it's that anytime that the market seems to be hyper focused on one particular issue, like right now, the one particular issue is like, does the Federal Reserve cut in March, for instance, right? How many cuts do they do this year? It is almost inevitable that what happens is something else comes along and ends up making that question completely irrelevant. So like, if the focus is who wins the next election, well, maybe Biden wins, maybe Donald Trump wins, but I'm going to bet you that after that, something else happens that makes everything that we're concerned about right now seem irrelevant. Okay, like they reveal that actually aliens are a real thing. And then, all bets are off. The world is completely different. It had nothing to do with who was president, right? And I bet you that's probably how it goes. the risk that we're most concerned with rarely ends up being the most important risk. Wow, you scored 44 out of 50. Well, okay, the relationship between ADHD and trading is this. ADHD people are significantly more likely than the average population to be interested in trading. A. B. ADHD is a significant detriment to trading. So ADHD is really about executive control. Okay. So what that means is with a person with ADHD, you have an executive center in your brain that's like your frontal cortex, and that's the part of your brain that does things like, oh, what happened last time that I did this? Well, that didn't go so well. Maybe I shouldn't do it this time. Okay, I won't do it. Okay. The person with ADHD, that part of the brain, like it's working, it says, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this, but the signal that it sends isn't very strong because you don't have enough norepinephrine and dopamine in the clefts between the nerve cells for the signal to get through. It gets there late. So what happens is you end up acting anyways, and then afterwards you go, oh crap, actually, I shouldn't have done that. That's ADHD. Okay. So ADHD people, for instance, one of the symptoms that is not as talked about is emotional regulation. People with ADHD have a much more difficult time controlling their emotions. And a person with ADHD, when they get into a certain emotional state, it's extremely difficult to get them out of it. Like if you're in a negative person with ADHD, they're down on themselves, they're going to be down on themselves a lot longer than the usual person will. Right? So if you're trading, that's a real problem, right? Because a lot of day trading is really a practice in self-control. You are going to want to trade all the time, and you're going to want to do stuff all the time because entering, like clicking, kind of feels good. Catching a winner, it feels really, really great. So and that gives you a good, strong dopamine boost and all these things that makes you feel great. You want to feel that again, and so over trading is a problem for everybody in trading, right? But a person with ADHD is going to struggle with that more. So if you have ADHD, it is absolutely within your best interest to go and get diagnosed and get on medication to improve your trading. Like GWE was kind of talking on Friday, like he was over trading. Okay, well, if you're ADHD, there's the solution right there. Go and get medication, and you will probably trade better when you're on the medication. And that's interesting. How is it that my GPU is at 75% on this performance tab? Okay, so let me show you on mine. Because depending on the version of the operating system that you're on, it should show you more than just that. So if I come to this performance tab and then I go to the GPU, it doesn't just tell me like the overall GPU usage. It tells me how much is 3D and how much is video encode. Because you have a 3070, right? So with a 3070, you know, you should probably be using like 30% of your video encode, but like far less of your 3D. If you're using a lot of your 3D, then something's going on, right? Because all you've got is like NinjaTrader open. That shouldn't be using a ton of your 3D. Okay, 3D goes 15 to 30 max, okay? If your video encode, if you've got a 3070 and your video encode is like 75%, then I think that you've probably got some of your settings set a little bit too high. So for me, if I come over to my video, it's output, right? I am using 5000K for my bitrate. Okay. And I set it really high because I have a fiber optic connection, right? So you should get relatively clear stream here, right? No, 50K. No. That would probably put it to 5. Just put it to 5K. 5K should, so first of all, 50K, that's going to be huge files. Holy crap, dude. But 5K, you should have clear enough video that you can see the numbers and stuff. Yeah, if you're going 50K, I could totally see how that could create issues. In fact, I would want to look at your disk because I would bet that you would be seeing a lot of activity on your disk, trying to save files that big. Your disk wouldn't be able to keep up, and probably the videos. If you wouldn't watch the videos, probably the videos would be like stuttery. Because I had that problem. You know, I should buy another disk so that I have like one disk for the operating system and one disk for like applications, you know? And I can save the stream to that disk, and then I might be able to do 4K. Because when I was trying to do 4K before, the disk couldn't handle it. Wasn't fast enough. A 40-minute video turned out to be how many? I can't see it. YouTube, you need to fix that little heart thing in the lower right corner. I can't read people's comments. 15 gigabytes, yeah. It'll be huge. It is really annoying. I can't believe that YouTube hasn't changed it because it's been a while. I've never worked at a big tech. I guess working for Goldman is kind of considered to be equal to working on a big tech in terms of like what it does for your resume and stuff. But I think that working at a big tech is a different experience still. So one of the things that I was told was that getting hired at Google does not actually mean that you have a job. So like what happens is they hire you for a certain role, but then once you're hired, you have to go around and apply and interview with different groups to get one of those groups to pick you up. Isn't that wild? So like when you get hired for a job, you don't actually have a job. I mean, like you get paid, but like you don't actually have a job yet. You have to go and find one within Google, right? So I don't really know 100% how things work there, but it's just there. I see so many things on YouTube and all this sort of stuff that's like that should not be very hard to change. Why aren't they doing anything about it? What are they focused on over there instead? I don't know. Well, we did break out of the bottom of the range here a little bit. I'm not going to say that the volume on it is super strong, but the overall trend for the last 2 hours or so in ZN has been sell, and we're moving down. So we have enough that maybe we could tepidly do it. I still feel a little risk adverse, so I'm going to kind of see how this plays out. At seeing them all, yeah, ZB dipping there pretty hard, in fact. And actually, I'm seeing a little bit of steepening. So down and steepening does not... Well, actually, down and steepening helps us, doesn't it? Down and steepening means that we could actually get paid a little bit more for this. We'll see. Plus, it's like 5 minutes before the S&P 500, so you usually get a move around the S&P 500. That must be this. And then it will kind of, like, that activity will kind of die down, so that makes that time period not the best for entering a trade, right? Iceberg at 14. But 5 minutes exactly right now, so. It's as good. The quality is as good as having it at 50. Yeah. It's one of those things where you get diminishing returns, right? Like the standard 2K that most people would use is kind of like, it's enough that you can tell, and like the numbers are kind of a little fuzzy when you zoom in on them, but you can still see them. I go to 5K, it's like clear. Beyond 5K, I don't know if you'd even be able to tell. I also have there's also some things, I don't know if I have them set this way. So I have like my preset set to slow, tuning high quality, 2 passes. I don't have the look ahead because the scene doesn't change very much. So because the scene doesn't change very much, you can it's actually better for the video encoding. They did the other side for fun. The autism test was a simple little test. Let's just say I most likely am. Autism is a weird thing because one of the issues with these kinds of conditions is that, like, we call it ADHD, but ADHD is actually like a collection of related problems. Like, you could say one problem is you have this gene and you have this gene and you have this gene, but then they combine. And all we can really do is say, these are the symptoms that you have and categorize the symptoms, right? With ADHD, oh my gosh, my throat feels kind of dry and it's got gunk in it. With ADHD, we have it pretty narrowed down. With autism, there's a lot they don't understand. Because autism is basically like your brain is just different, and each individual is so unique that how autism is going to affect you is like a very, very unique thing. My problem with recording in 1080p is, oh well, I'm streaming it in 1080p, aren't I? Yeah, I am. Oh no, wait, where's my video? Yeah, 1920 by 1080 and 60 FPS. Well, if you're autistic, well, okay, so at your age, finding out that you're autistic doesn't help you a whole lot, unfortunately. Okay, so my son, who is almost 4, turns 4 in what, 2 or 3 weeks now, does not speak. So he is non-verbal autistic right now. We have like 2 more appointments, I think, and then he'll be officially diagnosed as autistic. And once we get him officially diagnosed, then there's all of these additional resources that we can take advantage of, right? Like, there's a school here specifically for autistic kids. So probably he will go to that school, which might be a problem, because how will mom drive him to that and the other kids to their school? And it's going to be a mess. Okay, but I digress. once you get diagnosed, certain treatments and resources open up and are available to you, right? But as an adult, it's different because these are all like resources for kids, right? Once you're an adult, it's like it's already kind of too late. And the approach that they kind of take is, well, you made it okay on your own, so you don't really need our help, right? So then it just comes down to like, well, but maybe you can understand yourself and it can kind of help you on the journey of self-improvement or something like that, right? So being diagnosed as an adult is a completely different thing. It is sad, but you know, what would you do? Like, especially if you're over 35, because the whole thing is your brain is this living organism, and how it grows is kind of important. It's kind of like when you're doing bonsai, right? You have a tree, and as they're doing bonsai, they will do things like they'll use wire to cause the tree to grow in a certain way, right? And if you're not watching it and you just let the tree grow, then it's not going to grow in the way that you want it to. And your ability to force the tree into what you want is a little bit more limited, right? Well, that's the way that your brain is. It's like if you're a kid, then we can kind of use certain therapies and so forth to try and help your brain develop as normally as possible so that you can deal with things like social situations and stuff like that. But if you're already an adult, it's already grown. There's not a whole lot we can do about it because we're, you know, like a bonsai tree, you can cut a branch off, but you can't cut a branch off of your brain, right? Or force your brain to grow a new branch. It's harder. So that's why it's different for late. And I think one of the issues is that most like late diagnosed autistic people don't understand that or refuse to understand that, and they think that they should be given the same. Well, it kind of it becomes a privilege. Like that's kind of the silly thing about it is that, you know, there's a lot of people in our society today that are trying to find whatever identity they can that has been historically disadvantaged that they can use as privilege to help themselves. And the most underprivileged demographic out there is autistic. Okay, people that have like a level 2 and 3 autism, only like 25% of them have jobs, right? You turn 26. Well, 26 is an interesting age, my friend. So like when we're doing weightlifting, like the best weightlifters are around that 26, right? And it's between 26 and 30 that like your physical strength kind of starts to peak, because basically after that, your body's ability to recover is significantly less, to the point where when you become my age, it just bothers the heck out of you how difficult it is to recover sometimes. I kind of have been wondering that the issues that I've been having with trading lately, because when I look back on it, one, I can kind of see some reasons why the way that we trade might not be as effective in this situation, because it's just very, very difficult for us to be fully informed right now, right? But at the same time, there was opportunities and I didn't really take advantage of them, or I was on the wrong side of them. It seems like every time that happens, that there's something I can point to where it was like I was sick, or I was at the end of my weight training program, so my nervous system was depressed. That was probably hurting my trading. And I'm wondering if the cold that I had in December and then this post cold, cough and everything that I've had, that maybe that was part of the problem. So it's like the midi-chlorians are unhappy in my butt, you know what I mean? I probably shouldn't have brought up midi-chlorians. That's probably triggering to some people. I would expect a lot of my audience to be ADHD autistic. I think that as hard as I try, that the mannerisms and stuff are still there and that regular people pick up on it and don't want to stick around. And not only that, but I kind of feel like that you need to be a little bit autistic to be as interested in this stuff as we are, right? So, because like, so here's the thing. Maybe that's it. If I came in and I was like, oh my gosh, you can make so much money from day trading, just do what I do and you'll have it made, right? That's what I need to say to get the neurotypicals involved, right? I tell that to the neurotypicals, then that gives them a reason to put up with all of the, okay, what are interest rates and what moves interest rates, and here's all of the math behind market microstructure, etc., right? Then they'll put up with that. But if you come in and you say, yeah, day trading isn't really a very good idea, the robots have kind of taken it over, and the vast majority of traders will lose everything. So the whole concept in and of itself is a bad trade. That doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile, because you'll learn a lot from it, but just don't expect to be making tons of money from it and don't risk a whole lot, right? Then the neurotypicals go like, well, I'm not going to go through all of that effort and learn all of this stuff just so that I can maybe kind of tread water. Heck no. And they're not interested. So that's the problem. So what ends up happening? I get a bunch of autists. No offense, guys. I really might not be dealing with myself as well as a lot of y'all are, honestly. No. So just remember, when it comes to autism, that the issue with autism is primarily inability to understand and or function effectively in social situations is kind of what gets you diagnosed with autism. Like, my 4-year-old son does plenty of things that suggests to me that he's intelligent. Like, if he wants to get into something, he usually finds a way. I don't want him on the counter. He will find every piece of loose anything in the room and pile it up until he can climb up it. So it's not that he's not intelligent, but and he can even understand what we're saying, but it's just like he doesn't care. He's not interested in using words. He's not interested in communication at all, unless he actively wants something, and then he can just point and get what he wants, right? So it's like the part of the brain that drives people towards social behavior does not work the same in him as it does other people. That's autism. Now, autism is very often comorbid with ADHD, but I digress. And then there's this thing which is like they've kind of changed the class. So there's like 3 levels of autism. And then there's like, you don't have autism, but you might have autistic phenotypes, which is like, you do not have symptoms that are disrupting your life, but you have traits that are similar to autism and maybe related to the same genome. You just don't have it as bad, sort of a thing. So when you guys are saying, well, maybe I'm autistic, that's probably where you're falling in, right? They call it like you have autistic phenotype traits or something like that. But if you have ADHD, that's the thing. If you're an adult and you have autism, then it's just kind of like, embrace it, I guess. right? I think that a lot of people, when they have autism, they kind of want to shrink, but I'm like, nah, you just own it, right? Have your special interests, be the master of your interests, and don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks about anything. And that can be an advantage to you. And very good looking and people come to me. Oh, that's very interesting. That is very interesting. So the issues, it was somebody with ADHD. I had to put extra effort into learning social situations because I didn't care most of the time to talk. And then when I was in my 20s, I had to go out and practice and stuff. So I can kind of go into the mode and handle social situations for the most part, I think. But when you are autistic, your ability to kind of learn and get better at those situations is much more limited. As I understand it, at least. So, I don't know. Go get Adderall. See if it helps you. I shouldn't be saying that. Go to a doc. Go and see a doctor about it. Go and see a doctor about it is what I should say. Because if they give you prescriptions, that will almost certainly help you. All the women I dated in my life initiated that. Well, that's, man, I don't think I've ever had. No, I take that back. I've definitely had situations where like women approached me first, but every time that ever happened, I was like, whoa, okay, you're a little scary. Like, there's something not right about this situation. The worst, you know what the worst thing is when drunk women come up to you in the club. Oh my gosh. So, so when I go to raves, there's this little Asian girl that like always comes up to me, and then I'm like, oh, I'm married. But like for some reason, only when she's high, she like sees me and is like, that's the most angelic thing I've ever seen. Sort of really weird, right? But people do weird things when they're high at raves, right? They do things that they wouldn't normally do. Well, of course, none of them were right in their heads. Yeah, top tier girls, they might be interested in you, but they kind of have a way of like, yeah, making you think that it was your idea, right? I think one of the problems, I'll tell you, one of the problems that I see a lot of guys have, especially autistic guys, is that they take so long to process things that like they miss the opportunity. So like, you know, a girl's talking to them, and then afterwards they kind of think, you know what? I think I kind of like that girl. Next time I see her, I would like to ask her out or something to that effect, right? Well, it's too late. It's too late. You got to strike when the iron is hot. Like on Tinder, the best way to do this stuff on Tinder is you have like 5 messages back and forth that confirm that she's not a robot, and then get her number and set up a date. And don't mess with it more than that. Because if you're like talking to them for like a month and then finally you decide to get together, that usually doesn't work out. The longer that you just talk, the less likely it is to happen. That's the way that people are. Because people start to put you in a bucket, right? So the faster you strike, the more ability you have to set the narrative of, okay, we're gonna date. We're not just friends, right? You just set that right at the beginning and you have that role. And if like they're on Tinder and they're not like that, they want to sit and talk to you forever, then move on, because there's like thousands and thousands of people. Hey, Paul says, my girlfriend of like 10 years now or something tried her hardest at first to scare me away and be mean and such. Not trusting or knowing me at all. I don't pick up on things like that. I very often have a hard time. You know what? I don't think that I don't know. I think that like in situations where it's like somebody's unhappy or somebody likes you, I pick up on those things now. But a lot of the time what people are thinking is just kind of a mystery to me. And that probably is like they don't necessarily know what they're thinking either, right? You know? The issue that I have is acting in the moment, right? Sometimes I'm in that mode and then it's just great and I have lots of success, but it's like hard to get me into that mode. So there's plenty of situations where I had an opportunity to make a friend or to be more social with people, and I just sat there and didn't do anything, right? I just take people being, well, no, that's where you're wrong, my friend Paul. Is this is kind of messed up in my opinion, but the general social convention here is that men and women can't be friends. So if a woman is being friendly to you, it's probably because she's interested. And as a guy, if you just make that assumption, it usually will work out for you. Because that's what the alpha guys that are really good with women assumingly do. Even though we kind of talk like that it's not like that people can just be friendly and you shouldn't assume. But that, as far as I can tell, is what leads you to the most successes, is just assume that they're interested. Because if they're not interested, then they reject you and then you never see them again. It doesn't matter because there's so many people out there, right? See, imagine that the year was like 600. Okay. So we're like in Roman times, maybe. Okay. And you live in a small town. Okay. And you're autistic. Okay. Everybody in town's going to know that you're autistic. And if you're approaching a girl, you would want to be as careful about it as possible. Because you screwing it up with that one girl might be like the only opportunity you ever have. If that goes poorly enough, you're gonna be like ostracized by all the other women, right? So you want to be really careful, right? Okay, but that's because you live in a small town of only a few hundred people, and there's only a few dozen girls that are even options for you, right? That is not the world we live in. The world that we live in is that there are literally hundreds of millions of people that would be potential partners for you in this country. Okay? So you just go for it, and it doesn't work with one person, there's more. There'll always be more. I only ever realized once others told me. Yeah. Well, that sounds like autism. One of the things with and I don't know how much this helps with the autism, but with ADHD is like, it really, really helps to have somebody that knows that you're ADHD and is kind of like helping you. Like if you say, okay, I want to get better socially, so we're going to go out and be social, then you have a partner that's helping you. And the reason why you need a partner that's helping you is because so much of what we're talking about is habit, right? You're just going to do what you tend to do based on habit. And we can change the habit, but it's going to require manual intervention. And so you're going to need somebody else that has the high executive functioning to help you stay on track and help you develop that habit at first, right? Yeah, remember, if only 0.1% of people like you, that's still millions. Exactly. How do you think that I'm able to have a mildly successful YouTube channel, right? To have millions of video views, majority of them go. Actually, how many total video views do I have? I don't know. Special Blade. El Hadi? No, it's not off subject. You can ask any question that you want. So, yes, we do live trade. I haven't taken one today. I am very selective, so it can often be days between trades. I think that it should be a relatively active week for us, but I have been on a losing streak, so I'm being a little bit more careful than usual. I have... Oh, no, wait. That's not... That's just rank. Oh. I have 900,000 views. That is not what I expected at all. Wait, I don't have 13.3k subscribers, do I? Oh yeah, maybe I do. And I forget. Yes, 13,000. Jeez. 15,000 is the next big milestone. I remember when we crossed 10. Like, we haven't grown as fast since we got to 10. The total number of views, though, is actually a lot less than I thought. So if I have 13,000 subscribers and 903,000 video views, then that means that I have a subscription rate of 1.4%. Is that bad? No, I would expect it to be around 1%, so maybe it's just normal. Start a playlist? Yes. So if you go to my front panel page, I have some lists with the videos that I think are the ones you want to view, especially the order flow series. Only 0.1% of people on Earth like you. That's 7.8 million people. There you go. I think that my channel numbers have a lot more to do with how niche of a thing that we're doing, because, you know, even futures trading is relatively niche, and we're even more niche than that because we're focused on treasuries primarily. So the more general I started going with my content, probably the bigger the channel would get. And I guess we can do that. I think I should... What did you guys think of the Monte Carlo thing? You think that would make a good video? I was thinking about turning that into a short video. I was thinking about making a video about... What was it? About momentum. Want to make a video about momentum? I kind of feel like that I've been too picky with my videos. I've been like, okay, I got this stuff set together, should make a video, but then I'm like, it's not that great. It's not that great of a video. Not, why bother? But like, I could make a video every week, so it's not like I'm missing out. You know, the only opportunity I'm missing is the opportunity to put a video out, so I might as well be making them. I still want to make really good content. Given how ADHD autism was on the rise, your channel should explode. You know, like, I wonder if my YouTube channel, if my chosen YouTube specialty was ADHD, I wonder how I would do. I wonder, because that's definitely taken off. People have definitely done well with that. I don't know if that's what I would actually want my content to be about. And I don't know if I really want to start a secondary channel either. Maybe when the kids are a little older. Maybe 5 years from now. We've already been doing this for 5 years. 5 years isn't that long. Name it tangent. Well, because it's just more work, right? Like I have a hard time putting out regular videos as it is already. So it's not a good idea for me to add more to that. And if I'm adding anything, it's, you know, commodities trading advisor business, right? A week and a half, and then I'll take that test. I took the test yesterday, and I got like 94%, so I should be good, but I want to just absolutely smash it out of the park, so I'm still studying really hard. We'll probably start to, well, no, so having videos about ADHD on YouTube is, in my opinion, very, very useful to people, because it basically, you can teach people how to deal with it. Because it's very much something that is like, there are strategies that you can use to develop yourself and improve. And overcoming that, it's a challenge that can be overcome and people can have success. And I'm a prime example of that, right? I'm a site reliability engineer, so I'm pretty much at the top end of the range in income distribution in this economy. And I was able to do that because I was diagnosed early and learned the coping strategies and developed myself to the point where it's not a detriment to me at all. The one problem that I would probably have is that seeing people, other ADHD people seeing me might be a little sad for them, because what they'll be thinking is, oh, this is what I could have been if I was diagnosed early. That kind of sucks, right? But I bet you that if I was really putting my effort behind it, I could probably still do okay. I don't know if I would become a millionaire YouTuber from it, but I'm gonna bet that it would probably have more subscribers than this channel. The numbers are interesting to me. Like 13,000 is a lot. Before we did this, we were doing the Beyond Unreal YouTube channel. I kind of want to make video content for Beyond Unreal. I've been playing Unreal Tournament a lot lately. But that only ever got to 1,000 subscribers, I think. Which is like, I thought that was like a really large, dedicated community. So I'm really surprised that it didn't get bigger than that. Because there's plenty of, gaming channels about a single game, and they very quickly reach tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Make a makeup tutorial channel. Oh, man. I think the more generally, I think that for me, the thing that makes the most sense is to just slowly over time make my content more and more general, right? We've gotten the really technical stuff that's going to help you guys that are trying to day trade the most. And now you just kind of like expand it. Right? Problem. Does the Speculator Seth day trading brand, is that a detriment to that more generalized finance? I kind of feel like maybe it is. I kind of feel like that if I was going to say, we're going to talk more about, things that that I can see and say as an investment advisor. And like, for instance, one video that I could make is, will you ever be able to afford a house? Well, probably not going to get better for a really, really long time. So here's what you're probably going to have to do if you really want to own a home. I think that could be a good, useful video for a lot of people, right? The kind of videos that like basically more directly compete with Graham Stephan is kind of my idea, right? I kind of feel like that speculator Seth day trading kind of conflicts with that, because it's like day trading, but I'm also saying like most people shouldn't day trading. It's not a very good gig. So then the channel shouldn't be about day trading. But just the word speculator Seth isn't a very good branding for that, because people think, well, I don't want to speculate, right? So I'm wondering if I need a second channel for that. And I can treat them as one channel, so I wouldn't be creating more content, but to have content that's more geared towards the general finance. But I don't know what I would call that channel. I don't think that just my name, like Graham Stephan, is just Graham Stephan. I don't think so. So I don't know what to brand it. I think I need a new brand that I can use for the investment advisor business. I need a brand for my investment advisor / commodities trading advisor. So I need to come up with a name, register it with the appropriate authorities, and then I can never do anything with it. That's probably what would happen. So you know what? I tried that. I gave AI a bunch of info and asked it what it thought I should do. And basically all of the recommendations that it gave me were of investment advisor businesses that already existed. So none of the suggestions that it gave me would work. I think the only one that I saw that was like semi plausible was excessive capital management or something like that. Let me see if I can find my list. I think I put it on Evernote. Trying to get away from Evernote, but I haven't really found a suitable replacement. But Evernote nags me too much. Well, we did have that breakout, and I was kind of like, I don't know if you really want to, I didn't like the timing of it and everything. It's kind of meandered back in here. It's starting to look like it might just be a tight 8 week. Disconnect devices. Yeah. Evernote is just a real PITA. Assist Seth. Here we go. Trust Vantage. Dopucution. We went through this and we picked one, but then I didn't do anything with it, huh? Dopucution. Osmosis Point. Gain Scale. Prosper Expert. Ethereal Excellence. I don't know where that came from. Insight Nirvana. DICE. I don't know. DISE. That's weird. Bountiful Investments. Because that's the city that's really close to me. Mulan. I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Because Moolah is like one way of. So they said call it Mulan. And that sounds like a cow. That's like, what if Mulan was a cow? So we should redo. You know, they have like that what if, like Marvel what if. They should have like a Disney what if. Disney what if Mulan, and then they just redo the whole Mulan movie, you know, in 5 minutes, but with Mulan being a cow. I think that would be funny. That would be funny. And then it also, some of the names that it came up with were like way out there. So the other one was Sticky Dizzle. Sticky Dizzle. That's what, you know what? If we make an ADHD channel, that's what we should call it, is Sticky Dizzle. Just like a really, really random name for something, right? You know what I like to make? Oh, I don't have the skills to do this whatsoever, but so my son has been on kids' YouTube and is finding stuff. And so he found this genre of videos taken from a game called Geometry Dash. And there's this one level in Geometry Dash. It's like called I See With My Little Eye, and it's basically like these giant eyes are chasing and shooting at you the whole time. And it is like the most mind-bending, psychedelic, wildest thing you've ever seen in your life, man. Like, you know, like Seizure Warning and the song is so good. Oh my gosh. I mean, it's kind of, I'd say it's broken beats, drum and bass sort of a track, with like a really, really gnarly overdriven lead, and oh, it's just got so much energy, man. It's great. And he loves it. He loves it. And I'm like, I need more videos like this. Okay. Stimulation overload, yada, 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 yada. Right. Well, there's all these videos online that are like to calm autistic people. They have all the pretty psychedelic colors and everything, but like calming music. I want like the sensory overload. You know what I mean? Sticky Dizzle. Nah, I don't know. Anyways. I think one on here that was Stoxy, and that was like, that's almost certainly taken, right? So let's search these again. Actually, let's ask ChatGPT again. Okay. Let's see what you got, ChatGPT. A bunch of names that are probably already taken. Trustwise Investments. Yeah. Trustwise.io, tokenization and governance. Oh my gosh, it's a cryptocurrency company. Ugh. Yuck. Secure Harbor Advisors. Wow. Well, Safe Harbor Financial Advisors is a thing. That's funny. That one might actually work. That Safe Harbor, obviously. Hey, that's I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? No, wait, maybe you're somebody different and you just have the same first name. I don't remember how to say that name. Hulasitis Buddha. No, it's you, right? It's been a while. If you're looking to beat Saver, you have to watch a quick video versus just images because it's a VR. Yeah. United Seth Acquisitions. Yeah, so it should be something that is like BTF. BTFD. Just like, do you think that the Federal Reserve was like intentionally trying to create a name that sounded like, you know, by the effing dip with the BTFP program? Because I really don't see how that could have just been a coincidence. There you go. Secure Harbor Insurance Brokerage. Yeah. Guardian Wealth Partners. These are like it comes up with the most generic, most stupid names. I think it's so terrible at naming a business, man, but maybe it gives you ideas. Guardian Wealth Partners. It's already a thing. That's already a thing. Integrity Edge Investments. Why is Harbor trading? He likes Harbor. You know what? Harbor probably is pretty good if you're going for like the, you know, the high net wealth crowd. I think that if that was the way that I was going and I did well on YouTube with it, I would have to buy a yacht though, right? I don't really want to own a boat. I hear that it's a lot of work. Everguard Investments. Everguard Life Ventures. Yeah. See, none of these are ever going to work. Noble Trade. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's a thing. Unity Wealth. Yep, it's a thing. These are all just... It basically just took the name of businesses that already exist. Three Fitty Investments. Yes, I'm sure that would give us the branding we're going for, huh? Well, you know what, ChatGPT? I think you've been completely useless. Maybe if I was using GPT-4, I need to upgrade to Plus. SSF Sunnyside. I could just call it Speculator Seth Investment and Trading Commodity Advisory. Dollar's fallen here. Japanese yen rising. Interesting. But will it be enough to breach the top end of this range in the treasury? That could be interesting if we got that before the end of the hour. I'm in a hot state, yeah. There you go. But like the thing that's so funny about Utah, it's like we do live in a desert, but what we're known for is the snow, right? Just take spec Seth. Yeah, see, the problem is Speculator Seth is great for trading if all you're focused on is trading, right? But now that we're trying to go a little beyond that, we need a different name. And I wouldn't mind that the name had nothing to do with me, because then you could bring other people on board, right? And I think that would be fun too. I want to work with, in order for this to be... So again, I'm just kind of like walking in the general direction and hoping that I get somewhere, right? But I think for me to really be successful with this sort of a thing, we're going to need other people with different skills, right? Mickey Mouse funding. I don't know if you can use the word Mickey Mouse, though. So I saw this thing yesterday. It was Deadmau5. And he was talking about how he had a battle with Disney and stuff like that. And he was like, they wanted me to like write the score for Fantasia. So on one hand, there's one part of Disney that like wants me to make a score for them. And then there's another part of Disney that wants me to, that is like trying to sue me and get me to stop using the Deadmau5 name. Which is like crazy because it's nothing like Mickey Mouse. But anyways, and apparently they came to an amicable agreement where they can both exist peacefully, sort of a thing. But I was thinking about that and I was like, why would they ask him to do Fantasia? That doesn't make sense. They must have been asking him to do Tron. Was Daft Punk not their first choice? They actually wanted it to be Deadmau5 and they didn't go with Deadmau5. But then it makes you wonder because Daft Punk is defunct and they are starting filming on Tron 3. So who will do the music score for Tron 3 if Daft Punk isn't around? Maybe you just get Thomas Bangalter to do it all on his own, or maybe they come back just for that. Could happen. Or maybe you pick somebody else like Deadmau5 or Skrillex. Come on, it could be cool. Tron with Skrillex music, I'd be into it. I'd be into it. Okay, so what would be, let's ask ChatGPT. What would be a better way to come up with names that are less likely to already be used? Use new words. Consider acronyms. Thematic name. Geographic or personal connection. Use a name generator. You're not helping me out very much here, ChatGPT. You're about as useless as Chat is in coming up with names. Well, you know what? Now is actually a good time, not to like really quickly shift gears on you, but now is a good time to kind of check around the internet, see if we've got any news stories worth looking at. As stocks hit all-time highs, hedge funds are massively shorting stocks, so they say. But this is part of why I'm suggesting that with the gamma off, that you might actually see like a crash up. If they continue the rally it could be like really violent as these shorts like puke hard. U.S. leading indicators slump continues, the longest losing streak since Lehman Brothers. Rumble shares jump. Wait, Rumble has a stock? I did not realize. Wait, we did know that, didn't we? Oh, I don't know. Jumps 15% on Barstool Sports partnership. Well, that's interesting. You know what? I'm not too impressed with Rumble as a platform right now, but they seem to be like coming along. Maybe they do eventually come to a point where it's like practical. Dollar longs are steadily throwing in the curve. The yield curve shows the dollar should trend lower over the coming months. China stocks crash through snowball derivatives trigger levels overnight. Beijing, you have a problem. Shocking poll exposes how much the elite hate us. Oh boy. Let's read this one. I bet you people will be talking about this one. A shocking poll exposes the utter contempt the elite holds the general public in, with more than 3/4 wanting to ration food and energy to combat climate change, and a majority wanting air travel for holidays banned. The survey was conducted by the Committee to Unleash Prosperity, a Maryland-based nonprofit advocacy group. The organization polled members of America's 1%, defined as people who have a postgraduate degree and an annual income of more than $150,000. 77% of elitists who were asked to fight climate change, would you favor or oppose the strict rationing of gas, meat, and electricity? They said they would favor such a policy. That figure rises even higher to 89% amongst Ivy League graduates. So voters, 28% favor and 63% oppose, but the elite, 77% favor and 89% of Ivy League graduates favor. Wow. That actually is a really startling difference. Presumably, their wealth will ensure they are exempt from such rationing, while poor people can go whistle. Well, I don't think that this shows contempt for people so much as it is a lack of empathy. In addition, 69% of elitists want an immediate ban on gas stoves, while 81% want gas-powered vehicles outlawed. Majority also want the government to forbid the use of air conditioning and non-essential air travel, effectively outlawing vacations, rules that presumably won't apply to their private jets and luxury compounds. 67% of elitists also believe that teachers should decide what children are taught, compared to 26% of the general public who think parents should decide. The poll also reveals how the elite are totally at odds with the general public in both lifestyle and beliefs. When canvassed on how much freedom the United States should bestow on its citizens, 47% said people have too much freedom, compared to 21% who said there was too much control. In comparison, 57% of voters said there was too much control, compared to 16% who said there was too much freedom. 74% say their finances are getting better, while just 20% of the general public say the same. Whooping 84% also approve of the job Joe Biden is doing as president, while recent polls show Biden has an approval rating of around 39% with general voters. The people who run America, or at least think they do, live in a bubble of their own construction, write the poll's authors. They've isolated themselves from everyday America's realities to such a degree their views about what is and should be happening in this country differ wildly from the average America. As Chris Merson notes, the poll results are likely to be mirrored across the Western world in a similar way to how the backlash against the elite's policies are replicated in numerous different countries. So I'm a little skeptical of this poll, that I kind of think that the way that it's constructed may be meant to exacerbate certain biases. So I don't think that so for instance, if you ask a question like that, then the next question that you would ask is like, okay, this is the potential effect that it would have on people. Now that you understand how negative it would be for certain people, Do you still support this policy, for instance? You kind of have to ask those kinds of questions to really suss out what people really believe, right? And they didn't do that. So that kind of makes me feel like that it's a poll that's kind of narrowly tailored to try and create a certain kind of result. But I do believe that it is broadly true that the quote-unquote elite have a different set of beliefs than the general public. Although I think that that set of beliefs kind of tends to be more liberal, and that it's the liberalism that is the source of those beliefs that come out in that poll and not something else. I'm still in high school. Do I need to get into politics? Do you want to be a lawyer? Best way to get into politics is to be a lawyer. Just warning you. A lawyer or like an executive of some sort. I bet you that poll is going to pop up over and over again. Like there's this, what is this subreddit? Reddit.com/r/ it's like savvy in finance or something like that. Fluent in finance. See, that's a good brand right there. That's a good brand. Fluent in finance. I betcha that starts getting posted there, or that somebody will tweet about it, and that'll start going around. But not there yet. Watch the IB break. You think that they're going to break the high? They could do it. It's like awfully close. The abbreviation is FIF. What's unusual about that exactly? He's going to tell me and I'm going to feel embarrassed. I didn't realize. Somebody's asking me about what the definition of a recession is, but somebody already answered him, so I'm just gonna not deal with it then. Maybe I should just go all in on the, degenerate gambler investment advisors. That's the buyback delusion. How accounting deludes investors. Yes. There was a article by Kirkpatrick, who is like an anti-UFO sort of a thing, and he thinks that like rich UFO funded companies have basically fooled the government into thinking that the government is doing its own, like, has its own UFO program. That's what he, and the UFO subreddit super upset about it. And I think that I think it's so fun. Is going back to this thing earlier about like why people react to things the way that they do and stuff like that. Like, nobody in that situation is actually looking at it objectively, because the reality is that there's just not enough information to know either way. It's really interesting to like think about and assume that it's all true, but there's like every individual claim, and what happens is they'll believe a claim and then they combine all the claims together into their own UFO mythology, and it's all just crazy. But the way that they react when somebody says, no, actually, I'm looking at everything that you're looking at, and here's my theory, is like really, really shows you the cognitive dissonance going on, that it's not based, none of it's based in logic. None of it's based in logic. I want it to be true, though. I want to believe so bad. It's coming. The aliens are going to come, and then they're going to live on the earth for 1,000 years of peace. That's what's going to happen, guys. 2/3 of Americans say AI could do their job. AI couldn't do my job. Not current AI, at least. I think I might be getting a ingrown hair up here. That hurts. Moss says, no chance. Hostages will return to Israel after Netanyahu rejects deal. Okay. A lot of people still commenting on Hassan's Houthi pirate interview. Oh boy, what's the most brainwashed cult in the world? I'm sure I'm going to love the responses to this one. Okay, number 1. Any cult where the members have been convinced to unalive themselves. Okay, but we're looking for specific examples here. Scientology. Yeah. Scientology, hands down. I was a member. This guy. Scientology, hands down. Those people are drinking the Kool-Aid like it's nobody's business. Source: was a member for 3 months before escaping and burning all my Tom Cruise posters. Oh my gosh. Do you think that Tom Cruise really believes it, or is he just afraid to push back against the cults, Listen, Tom, be free. Be free, Tom. I really like Tom Cruise, actually. Every movie he's in, I'm like, I gotta see that. Police arrested a baker in my neighborhood. Turns out he was baking bread and cooking meth. I was his customer for 5 years and had no idea he was... Oh, gosh. I fell for that one. Okay, that's like the first top 2 replies are that. Just seen the Netflix documentary called Escaping Twin Flames. Disturbing stuff with the 2 leaders making a fortune by mind-effing their following. Never heard of them. I love watching those. I'm going to go find that. All of these people are saying that this is so and this it's such an but nobody's telling the story. So I guess I'm gonna have to go watch the see when remember earlier I was talking about maybe some of the people that you're talking to and reading online are NPCs. There's a new Netflix documentary. We just happened to have a question on Ask Reddit that is the perfect time to bring up that new documentary. Not a coincidence at all, folks. Not a coincidence at all. They're NPCs. They're like the most generic comments too. Right? Oh, that's so insane, but nobody says what it is because they want you to watch it. NPCs. There you go, the flat earth. And they thought we are the ones being brainwashed. Yeah, dude, the flat earth cult is like pretty crazy. You watched that what is the one? Oh, you guys are gonna tell me what the name of it is. That documentary about the flat earthers. Oh my gosh, I want to go watch that. That's so funny. I'm gonna watch that again. Oh, that was so funny to watch. I enjoyed that a lot. So probably what's going on in this thread is all of the juicy answers that make me upset and give me the dopamine for being upset are going to be down at the bottom. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. Ah, the Trump MAGA idiots. Okay, yeah. The right wing. Yeah, there you go. Pro-Israel people. Oh, man. That's so brave. -18. Did you watch Dumb? Oh, no, I don't think maybe I did. I don't remember. This person just says, though religious. Only 4 downvotes for that. MAGA again? MAGA again? These people don't go to controversial and expand it to see anything before saying that? Was it recently released or was this released a few years ago? Because I remember watching a documentary about GameStop on Netflix, I think. And I was kind of thought it was kind of silly. I think part of the problem with documentaries on the GameStop is that there's still tons of people trying to be like the leaders of that movement and like trying to mine clout from it, you know? Man, how many comments down at the bottom are going to be Republicans? Ah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yeah. Reddit is so effing hilarious sometimes. Oh, capitalism. Oh, there you go. There's Christians. No. Swifties. There we go. That's the comment that I'm looking for. Oh, yes. In my opinion, any fan base qualifies as a cult, no matter who the leader is. But honestly, unless you go poking Swifties, they are some of the nicest and most considerate people I have met. That is not what I'm looking for. I want to hear about how they're so crazy. There was a little while, well, I dealt with Swifties daily. I would gladly do it again. Cult or not, they are some of the most thoughtful and considerate people I ever met. Are you talking about Swifties or Mormons here? Good grief, dude. Gosh. Apple fanboys all upvote that one. Yep. Hate Apple. It is a cult. most cults get to meet their leader, but nobody has ever met Donald Trump. Most of these people have not met Trump and believe every word out of his butt. Jeez. EV car drivers. Oh my gosh, dude. I am... Okay, so like, I thought that it was okay to bash EV cars. You know? Like, you're paying so much for the batteries that you're really not saving money over getting a gas car, from what I can tell. And then, like, when the battery goes gone, you have to replace the battery, which is like a crazy pain. And then we're having these issues like they don't work very well in the cold. There are certain types of crashes where they can explode. It's just like there's been and the EV demand apparently isn't there. So I thought that it was like okay to question EVs, if not outright bash it. But apparently not, because I've seen some other things online and all these people are like, you're an irresponsible human being if you drive a gas car now. Really? So people are just so unhinged about it. It's really surprising to me. I want to believe they could make the batteries accessible for cell replacement. Usually the whole battery doesn't die, just individual cells, but you can't get them depending. Well, yeah. So the reason why, APOL, is because a battery is really heavy. So if you just put the battery all in one spot where you can completely replace it in one spot, then it has really negative consequences for the performance of the vehicle. So what they started doing instead is they started building the battery into the frame of the car. So it's like the whole bottom of the car is actually a battery. And then it doesn't have then it doesn't mess with the center of gravity and everything so badly. So that's why they're hard to replace and stuff like that. But maybe we'll get you know, graphene capacitive batteries and all that sort of stuff goes away. They should be accessible to where I can replace and repair it myself. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, Toyota isn't bullish on EVs. But you know why? Because Toyota has the best hybrid technology. And they know that the hybrids are a better, you know, more sustainable right now. They don't require as many exotic materials. They actually have less overall energy consumption when you consider like the cost of making the vehicle and all that stuff. Like, as far as I understand, if you have to buy a new car, like your old car is just really gone, that like the most responsible thing to buy is a Toyota Prius. Not that any of us are going to get one, but do they have I thought it was Hyundai that was making the hydrogen car. So some of the cars coming out of Kia Hyundai look really cool. My understanding is they suck, but they look cool. Every time I see one of them, I'm like, wait, what's that? I've never seen a car like, oh, it's a Kia. I kind of dislike that basically everything has become mini SUVs. Like everything is a crossover now. Like I kind of maybe want to get a crossover, but I don't really want to get a crossover. When we talk about it, she's like, no, I want a really big SUV or a truck. Like, no, you got the van. I'm not buying a huge SUV. I'm going to end up with one of those Cadillacs, huh? I've made fun of the Escalade my whole life, and then I'm going to end up buying one in the ultimate irony. I wonder if they have good sound systems, so maybe I could get that. No, I don't think I spend that much money on a car. That's like $100,000 car. No, thank you. No, thank you. When I can easily get one for like a fifth of that. Now, the only way I ever see myself buying a super expensive car is like if Ferrari like literally begs me or something like that. Otherwise, I don't think so. Go check out a Grand Wagoneer. I've never heard of that. Grand Wagoneer. From Jeep. Well, I'm not. I'm already kind of like, no. Luxury through there. You've watched Cars too, right? Like the thing is that they won't say that the main villain is a Land Rover, but the main villain is basically a Land Rover, right? Same thing with the Jeep. Basically, the way that it goes is, in order to get the kind of off-road performance that you want, you get a car that's not really very reliable. And people that buy Jeeps are okay with that because they love working on their Jeep and they make it easy to work on a Jeep. So you know, you work on it yourself, but it's not a very reliable vehicle. If I were going with luxury, I'd go with a Lexus. I am kind of leaning towards a Lexus if I can find a Jeep. So my only qualifier, here's the only two things that I'm looking for, three things that I'm looking for in a car, right? I want to buy it in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay. So that's why I'm looking at cars that are like 2024, but they'll be 3 years old, 3 years from now. Hopefully my Acura lasts until then. Gotta be ready in case the Acura dies. But it's been going pretty good. It's a Honda. I don't see any reason why it would just all of a sudden stop. But, sometimes it sneaks up on you. Okay, so 3 to 5 years. Has to have a really good sound system. And it has to be good in the snow. So, preferably all-wheel drive. So, on the Lexus vehicles, they have the, what is it called? Oh, we want sedans probably. So you want probably like an IS. IS or LS. Performance. Yeah, the IS 500 is the nice one. But I think that you want like an IS styles. I think that you want like an IS 300 is where you can get all-wheel drive, right? And I don't think the 350 comes in all-wheel drive, but you can get the F Sport all-wheel drive. Or the F Sport design. I don't know if that's the coolest looking car though. I'd love to have a cool one too. I've got a 99 Suburban. Ooh, yeah. I see a couple of range. So I'm starting to wonder now. I need to start looking at license plates because I'll be like out and about on the town and there's a Porsche out there. I think it's a Macan. Somebody has a Macan in the area and I'm wondering if I'm just seeing the same Macan over and over again or not. If it is, I should like say hi and get to know them, and then I can like, oh, there's Jim. No, but see, once with these come down, that'd be like $20,000 dollar car. I think that'd be okay, as long as it has a good sound. But then that's where I should just go to another Acura, right? Because Acura has really good sound. At least the Acura that I have right now has really good sound. So then you get like a TLX, right? Probably you get a TLX. And they make TLXs that are all-wheel drive. TLX SH all-wheel drive with a spec package. Yeah, mine's a TL, which is basically what became the TLX, right? Yeah. Dude, the sub in my car is great. Although I don't think that, well, it's hard to say. I got pretty good sound in here. I've got Rocket 5s. I should probably upgrade the monitors to bigger monitors. But I've got a nice sub. I've got like a Mackie sub, I think it is. It's a Mackie or a JBL sub. And it's great. Like, we turn the music up so you can feel it. Oh, it's great. I kind of have to turn it up a little louder than I'd like, but it's good. Ooh, I like it. But see, in the car, I can do that whenever I want. Most vehicle systems are crap, even new ones. They still have no idea what they are doing on. Right? So you know what I actually really want? We talked about this. You guys took me down this rabbit hole, and then after that stream, I really started looking at it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of liking this GR Corolla, right? So it's not a luxurious vehicle. You're gonna feel every bump. It's gonna be loud. The engine is kind of a little obnoxious. Wow, oh, it sounds good. I like everything about it. Souped up Toyota Corolla. I'm totally down, and it's got all-wheel drive and everything. But the big problem is the sound system in it sucks. Even the nicer packages, the sound system in it is bad. So I suppose if I wanted to get into the replace the whole sound system, but you'd have to replace the whole thing, including the amp, because they were saying that, like, I tried just replacing the speakers on it, and it didn't help because the amp is just so bad. So, what you gonna do? At that point, one of my dreams was always to have a good DJ speaker setup. So like 2 EONs and a subwoofer or something like that. Like a powered system that I don't need an amp for, but maybe one with an amp and just a good system. But now, if I had that, I don't know if I would actually use it. Because I just haven't done stuff like that in a really long time. Still kind of want it, though. I really like to think about things that I could buy, but then not buy them. It's like, yeah, I could go and buy a Porsche. I don't think that it would be the most responsible thing to do, but I could buy a Porsche. And then just knowing that I could buy it, and then I'm happy with it, and then stop looking at it. Really, if I was trying to impress people, probably Porsche is the way that I should go, right? Sure, if I had a good Porsche, that people they'd want to talk to me then, right? Oh, well. Seth has a Porsche. Maybe I should give him all of my money to manage. If you go with European luxury, you get an awesome sound system. Mark Levinson, Harman. Well, but the brand name doesn't necessarily... The brand name is not a guarantee that it'll be good. Because sometimes it's still just crap with the brand name on it. Like, they've paid to use the brand name, but it's not actually stuff that brand is actually making. Probably if you really want nice audio in your car, you gotta make it custom, I think, but... Like, here's the other issue with the car thing. I don't drive very much. Right? So, doesn't really make sense for me to spend a whole lot on a car, which is why probably we continue to drive the Acura until it dies. And then when I switch, I think I'm leaning towards the Tacoma. Like, what could we do here? The 2024 Tacoma. And then they've got all of the different specs. See all the specs. Okay. So the SR5 is like the basic one. Oh, they have more than that. There's like the off-road and the pro, and then there's a limited. I think that the limited is what I would probably get because it has a nice sound system in it. But then it's like, yeah, again, back into the same discussion, right? Yeah, some of the biggest high-end brands, absolutely, and I mean absolutely freaking destroy people with horrible, cheap crap they get people to pay for. Yeah, that's true. Even if you're just talking like regular audio gear, what happens a lot is that, yeah, they have like the professional systems and they're good, and that's what you get if you want a professional system, but like the consumer level stuff that they sell is crap. Oh my gosh, yesterday I saw this person on TikTok. And they were like, I was so triggered. They were like, I'm an expert in headphones. Look, here's all of the headphones that I bought. I have like the Beats and I have the Sonys. And I'm like, the Sonys are the only headphones that you even have there that are worth crap at all. You don't have any Sennheisers. What's wrong with you? And they're like, these are the best earbuds ever. You should trust me. And they're cheap. No, it's crap. You're selling crap. You have no clue what you're talking about. Everyone thinks it will be the battery cars that will lead. I think it will only be a small part of it. E-petrol will be the big thing in 5 to 10 years. E-gasoline can be used in all the old cars. What, you think that we're all going to go to diesel vehicles? Really? That's a curious thought. Now, speaking of all brands and cars, of course, but way too many. Yeah. I don't feel like, the car industry is really interesting because I think that they've found a way to get people to pay for things when they're really not getting value back from it, I could probably justify buying a nice truck because I borrow my dad's truck on a fairly regular basis and it would be good in the snow. Yeah, maybe it's only 2 or 4 door, but I could justify that one, right? Because if I was going to get like a Porsche 911 or something like that, like I think that the wife would start to have some issues with it. Just be like, but it's only a 2-door and that's only for you to go and drive and have fun and you never drive anyways. So why would we get that one? But she doesn't, I don't think that she'll let me get a Tacoma either because she thinks it needs to be a big car. Why? Well, apparently the Tacoma's towing capacity actually it might not be high enough if we wanted to have like a really big trailer or something like that. But the 911 is a great car in this. It probably is. We'll see. Okay, here we go to Porsche. I've been looking at any time that I get any kind of a car advertisement, I click on them now because I want Google to think that I'm going to buy a really expensive car. Any time that an advertisement shows me something that looks expensive, I click on it just to try and, manipulate the algorithm. Models. Yeah, their 4-wheel drive is good. It is. No, you're totally right. Oh, come on. Can you just show me all of them? Okay, so they've got the Taycan, the Panamera, and the Macan. So the Macan is like And the Cayenne. So the Macan is like the small SUV. The Cayenne is like the mid-sized SUV. The Taycan is the sedan. And I don't remember the difference between the Taycan and the Panamera. They're both sedans. They're very different as I understand it. Yeah, Panamera is faster. All I remember is that I was thinking that the Taycan would be more appropriate for me. But like the thing is, as I understand it, is that like you get into that and then there's a bunch of different models and stuff. There you go, Cross Turismo. Yeah, that's what I want. Oh, is the Taycan the EV one? Oh, maybe you're right. Soul electrified. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So it's actually the Panamera. So it was between the Panamera and like one of these ones. Panamera models, Sport Turismo, Panamera executive models. Oh, executive models, huh? Executive. That does look executive to me. Oh, what do they got? Panamera 4 e-hybrid. 4 is 106,000. Yeah. I don't know if I would spend of course I'd buy it used, but I don't think I'd buy a car that's 100,000 brand new. I think might go up to 60. Even then, I don't know. Might just get another beater. So I don't drive that much. No, but I'm thinking I want to spend my money on more stocks. More stocks, yes. I want to buy many more stocks. I have like 4 and I want like 10. I just want 10 stocks. Yeah. I don't think I see myself going with the German luxury cars because as of late, at least, the reliability is just not there. Like having to pay more when you have to repair it is okay, I suppose, if you don't have to repair it very often, but they are not as reliable as they used to be, apparently. Especially like the Volkswagen Group stuff. So. Oh, then why are you looking? Are the Porsches are really reliable though, aren't they? I thought that Porsches were super reliable. I thought that it was like if you want something that's super reliable and has a really good interior, then you go for a Porsche. No? No, the only reason why I would like straight up, I think this is so stupid. Oh, but they are German. Oh, okay, that's true. The only reason I see myself buying a Porsche is if I thought it would open up business opportunities for me. And I kind of get this impression that it could, but I also kind of think that that's marketing. You know what I mean? So it's a stupid thing. But it's just like, it's something, it's fun. Wasn't it fun to watch it? You can tell I feel pretty like high at the moment. Like looking at and thinking about buying something and like the anticipation of buying something gives you dopamine. And then just don't go and spend the money. Go and pretend like you can afford it and that you're going to do it and do all of the research like you're going to buy it. And then don't actually go to the dealership and buy one. And it can help you get out of a rut. It's a fun thing to do. I don't know if it's actually good for your health long term, but whatever. Okay, so what should we put on today's title? Constrained trade. Ahead of busy central bank week. All right, guys. Think of names for our new investment advisor, commodities trading advisor business. I would like to. I need better names. It'll come. And it'll just be like, this is the one, Seth. Anyways, see you tomorrow. Stay excellent.